There's actually been a lot of aggressive reporting on Hillary Clinton this year. The email fiasco, which was originally broken by the New York Times, and a story that has gone on for months, the tangled finances of the Clinton Foundation. But every once in a while, something happens that just gives people who think that the media are way too cozy, or shall I say in the tank for the Clintons, more ammunition. And there's been two examples now in the last few days that just kind of give me indigestion. Bunch of emails uncovered by Gawker between journalists and the Clinton folks. One of them involves Politico's Mike Allen. He's the guy who writes the playbook every day. He was trying to get Chelsea Clinton as a guest. She, as you know, doesn't do many interviews, as a guest at one of these events, breakfasts sponsored by Politico. And so Mike Allen sends a note saying that, telling her people no one beside me would ask her a question, and you and I would agree on them precisely in advance. The interview would be no surprises, reaching an audience you care about with no risk. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be done. And in fact, nobody's supposed to get any questions in advance, certainly not on television, not on radio, and not in a newspaper interview. Now, Mike Allen says, the interview, by the way, never came off. He says he never would provide the questions in advance. But these kinds of emails just reinforce the popular perception that Hillary Clinton is treated in a different way than, say, the 42 Republican candidates running for president. Same thing with emails from Elise Labott. She is CNN's global affairs correspondent. If you recognize that name, she's the woman who got suspended for 2 weeks for setting out an utterly inappropriate tweet. She apologized for this later. In which she said the Statue of Liberty hangs its head in anguish after the House passed that legislation with nearly 50 Democratic votes, tightening up security checks for Syrian refugees that might be admitted to this country. So a couple of years ago, when the former Secretary of State was testifying in Benghazi on Capitol Hill, Elise Labott was in touch with Hillary's people, and they jointly decided to take a couple of shots at Rand Paul, the Kentucky senator, not yet running for president, but probably thinking about it. So here's one email in which Hillary's people were feeding Elise Labott information on Rand Paul's attendance record. And then she tweeted, Senator Paul most critical on committee of Clinton, but a little late to the Benghazi game. Not sure he was at many of the 30 previous briefings. Now, it's certainly fair to take a shot at when senators or members of Congress don't show up for hearings, but this was very carefully coordinated with the Hillary camp. And by the way, Elise Labott made sure to tell the guy who was then Hillary's top spokesman about her testimony. She was great. Well done. I hope you're going to have a big drink tonight. Well, that sounds kind of cozy. And then later they congratulated each other on the fact that she put up these tweets. Now, it's really important for those of us in the news business. Now, you know, I deal with campaigns and the White House and members of Congress all the time. And there's nothing wrong with having a cordial professional relationship, but you can't be seen as carrying somebody's water in order to take shots at the other side. That's precisely what happened here. This is precisely what undermines faith in the media, and two embarrassing examples exposed. And I think that this just sort of reinforces the impression that people have that we're not fair, and at the same time, it kind of overshadows the legitimate, aggressive reporting that's been done by the Washington Post, by the Wall Street Journal, by the New York Times and others about Hillary in terms of, as I said earlier, her emails, her tangled finances, the private speeches that she has given. Those are all good stories, but it's hard to compete with the popular image of being a little cozy, so cozy that it becomes an embarrassment.